the president doesn't want Iran to ever be able to have nuclear capabilities. He's hoping to get a 20-year ban on them touching any of those materials. Iran is allegedly, according to insiders of the negotiations, only wanting a 5-year ban. Do you think that they'll be able to come to some sort of a middle ground on this to end this conflict? I mean, it's starting to hurt the pockets of so many Americans. It's dragging on a lot longer than we originally thought that it would.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I think the American pockets would hurt a lot more if an atomic bomb would have been dropped in the middle of Manhattan, because this is exactly what the Islamic regime is capable of doing. I don't understand the purpose of negotiations with such an evil, vile regime that's akin to the Nazis in the 1940s. I don't understand why we're trying to negotiate with them. This is an evil regime that has declared war on the United States, the West, and our culture since 1979. I can go time after time, incident after incident of when they have hurt America, when they have killed American civilians, and where they have hurt American interests. So any kind of negotiations we're going to have with them, it's just going to fall apart fairly soon anyways. The only way I see out of this for the betterment of the world is the absolute dissolution of the Islamic regime.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, having that negative connotation, if you will, with hearing talks with Iran. This has been going on for 47 years. In terms of getting them to not have a nuclear weapon, it's never been a success. But nevertheless, the Secretary of State, this administration, is very optimistic. It appears to want to have these talks this week and perhaps make a deal. There's a lot of criticism in terms of what's happening with Iran. And one of those is coming from Pope Leo. President Trump is defending his criticism of Pope Leo for slamming his administration's handling of the conflict. And Tiffany, the Prime Minister of Italy appears to be taking the side of the Pope, at least, because a statement was put out where Giorgia Meloni said, "I find President Trump's words towards the Holy Father unacceptable. The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church, and it is right and normal for him to call for peace and to condemn every form of war." Your thoughts, Tiffany?
Yeah, I don't think you can separate the Pope from Italy. And I think that she is doing, her job and is really being pro-Italy and pro the Catholic Church, because those two are intrinsically linked. And, as much as Trump loves America, Meloni loves Italy. And, we can look at all the different arguments that are going on right now. There's the meme that's circulating everywhere. But at the end of the day, President Trump is trying to do what's best for the American people and put an end to essentially a regime that has held everyone hostage through their acts of terror and their unwillingness to negotiate.
Shar, I want to get your insight on this question specifically as an Iranian-American. Your hopes, perhaps, for Iran after this. There have been some guests that we've spoken to who say that it is possible, could be possible, for there to be an allyship between the U.S. and Iran if there was a regime change. The odds that you think that happens, that one day Iran could go back to what it was before this regime took power?
Yes, absolutely. People forget that for many, many years, Iran was one of the best allies to the U.S. in the area. And there was a bilateral agreement for security that Iran was heavily involved with. I think the answer to your question, it depends on the Islamic regime. As long as the Islamic Republic regime is in power, there will never be any kind of a peace with the West. Now, if we have a transitional government led by His Royal Highness Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who, and if we have democracy in Iran, I don't see how we could not have Iran as an ally, because for the vast majority of Iranian people love America. This isn't Iraq. This isn't Afghanistan. It's a completely separate culture. It's a highly educated culture. It's an English-speaking culture who's looking westward in terms of the people, not the government. So if the Islamic regime is dispelled, I see no other way for Iran than to move forward as an ally of the West.
And just you hear that a regime leader has been killed, taken out. Then there's another one. They were killed, taken out. And then you can't confirm if that person's alive or dead, but yet somehow the negotiations are at a stalemate. It's such a difficult and pivotal moment for both sides.